Good day everyone, I am Annalyn Atadero. So for today's video, I will discuss about Chapter 2 entitled Foundation of Curriculum. So what is Foundation Curriculum? It refers to the factors that influence the minds of curriculum developers to make a decision on what to be included in the curriculum and its structure. Therefore, curriculum should be designed in the radiance of inclination from the development of society. So when we talk about foundation of curriculum, is that curriculum developers, they need some basic forces that influence and shape the minds of curriculum developers due to enhance the content and structure source of subsequent to curriculum. And the role of teacher and for students how they should learn and what they should be learned. So what is curriculum? Curriculum is defined as the total learning experience of the individual. This definition is anchored in John Dewey's definition of experience and education. He believed that reflective thinking is a means that unifies curricular. Thought is not derived from action, but tested by application. Curriculum is used to change students' conduct and philosophy aids in the process of creating new ways and foundations for teachers and curriculum planners to change students' behavior. So, there are four major foundations of curriculum, namely philosophical foundation, historical, sociological, and psychological foundations. So first is philosophical foundation of curriculum. Philosophy provides educators, teachers, and curriculum makers with framework for planning, implementing, and evaluating curriculum in schools. It helps in answering what school for, what subjects are important, how students should learn, and what materials and methods should be used in decision making. Philosophy provides the starting point and will be used for the succeeding decision making. So the philosophical foundation of curriculum helps to determine the driving purpose of education, as well as the roles of the participants, especially for the students, if how the learners should learn and what are the materials and methods should be applied or used in the setting. And also for the teacher to know and understand the way of teaching and learning process to have a better progress in teaching. So there are four educational philosophies such as perennialism, essentialism, reconstructionism, and progressivism. So first is perennialism. Aim of education is to educate the rational persons, to cultivate an intellect. Role of education, teachers help students think with reason. Focus on the curriculum, classical subjects, liberty, analysis, and curriculum is constant. Curriculum trends use of great books and return to liberal art. So in perennialism, educators teach the students to think rationally to be able to make decisions based on their intelligent thinking rather than the under emotion or feelings. And also to develop their minds of the students that they can think critically in every situation. So second is essentialism. Aim of education is to promote the intellectual growth of the individual and educate a component person. Role of education as the teacher is the sole authority in his or her subject area or field of specialization. Focus in the curriculum, essential skills of the 3 R's, and essential subject of English, science, history, math, and foreign language. Curriculum trends, excellent in education, back to basic, and cultural literacy. It aims to instill the most basic academic information and develop a Swiss as we as the character development in all students, without any considerations for the students and interests. Teacher or administrators select what is most important for them to learn. Third is progressivism. Aim of education is to promote democratic and social living. Role of education is knowledge leads to growth and development of lifelong learners who actively learn by doing. Focus in the curriculum. Subjects are interdisciplinary, integrative, and interactive. Curriculum is focused on students' interests, human problems, and affairs. Curriculum trends, school reforms, relevant and contextualizes curriculum, humanistic education. So children are encouraged to explore new areas of learning on their own and build their own structures of understanding. Children that are taught a progressive curriculum are encouraged to be lifelong learners and are exposed to being allowed to learn what they want when they want. So 4 is reconstructionism. Aim of education is to improve reconstruct the society. Education for change. Role of education. Teachers act as agents of change and reform various educational projects, including research. Focus in the curriculum. Focus on present and future trends and issues of national and international interest. Curriculum trends. Equality of educational opportunities in education, access to global education. The purpose of reconstructionist learning for students is for them to imagine a better future for themselves and use their education to prepare for their part in that future. It is a modification can see for more effective educational system. So next is psychological foundation of curriculum. Psychological foundation is based on the individual differences. Every student has its own unique personality and they have differences in their learning and skills. They are different in nature, so they can't be treated like in teaching learning process. Some may be fast while others are slow. So they are finding new ways and materials from the analysis of teaching learning problem and formulating new approaches for teaching and learning process. So, psychological is the scientific study of mental functions and behavior which provides information about the teaching and learning process. It also aims to determine how curriculum will be organized in order to maximize student learning and the quantity of knowledge they may absorb while learning the various curriculum elements. Therefore, the curriculum should provide the needs of individual and it should be designed to support the capacity and potentialities of all students. So there are 3 major groups of learning theories. First is behavioral psychology, second is cognitive psychology, and third is humanistic psychology. So behavioral psychology, learning should be organized in order that students can experience success in the process of mastering the subject matter. The method is introduced in a step-by-step manner with a proper sequencing of tasks, which is viewed by other educational psychologists as simplistic and mechanical. So learning should be clear and organized so that the student can fulfill their knowledge about the subject, and also for them to become a productive and effective learning in the learning environment. So the method must be preferred for what the learners are in order for the learning will be successful at the cognitive psychology. To the cognitive theories, learning constitutes a logical method for organizing and interpreting learning. Learning is rooted in the tradition of subject matter and is similar to the cognitive development theory. So teachers use a lot of problem and thinking skills in teaching and learning. These are exemplified by practices like reflective thinking, creative thinking, intuitive thinking, discovery learning, and many more. So our understanding of how humans develop, preserve, and remember memories has also advanced because of cognitive psychology. Psychologists can develop advanced methods to assess people, strengthen their memories, and battle possible memory disorders by learning more about how this process works. Third is humanistic psychology. Humanistic psychology is a perspective that emphasizes looking at the whole individual and stresses concepts such as a free will, self-efficacy, and self-actualization. Rather than concentrating on this function, humanistic psychology strives to help people fulfill their potential and maximize their well-being. Humanist psychology are concerned with how learners can develop their human potential. The whole process, not the products. Personal needs, not the subject matter. Psychological meaning and environmental. So humanistic psychology contends that mental process and behaviors came from whole being and their life journey. Each human being has free will and the ability to make their own decisions based on priorities for anything what they want. It can emphasize creativity, can emphasize innovation. You're going to hear different vocabulary like self-efficacy, self-advocacy, anytime you are looking at like self-esteem or improvements and that you would really look. This approach emphasizes human potential and creativity. So the third foundation of curriculum is historical foundation of curriculum. According to Franklin Babbitt, 1876-1956 presented curriculum as a science that emphasizes on what students need. Curriculum prepares for adult life. So according to Babbitt, he believes that the learning objectives together with the activities should be grouped and sequenced. After clarifying the instructional activities and tasks, he also views curriculum as a science that emphasizes the needs of the students. This viewpoint explains why lessons are planned and organized depending on the needs of the students, and these needs must be addressed by the teachers to prepare them for adult life. Weary Charters 1875-1952 considered curriculum also as a science which is based on students' need and the teachers plan the activities. According to Charters, aside from emphasizing the students' needs, he believes that the objectives along with the corresponding activities should be aligned with the subject matter or content. For that reason, department chairperson or course coordinators scrutinize the alignment or matching of objectives and subject matter prepared by the faculty members. Next, Harold Grogg, 1886 to 1960. He introduced curriculum to develop the whole child. He emphasizes social studies in the curriculum and the teacher plans the lesson in advance. According to William Kilpatrick, 1871 to 1965, he viewed curriculum as purposeful activities which are child-centered. The purpose of curriculum is child development and growth. So for him, the purpose of curriculum is child development, growth, and social relationship. He also introduced the use of small group interaction and the project method in which teacher and students plan together. Thus, it is called as the child-centered curriculum. In Hollis Caswell, in 1901 to 1988, according to him, he says curriculum as organized around social functions of themes, organized knowledge, and learners' interest. So he believes that subject matter is developed around the interest of the learner under social functions. So the curriculum is a set of experiences. Learners must experience what they learn. According to Taylor, 1902 to 1994, believes that curriculum is a science and an extension of school's philosophy, and as to the hallmark of curriculum development as a science. Ralph Taylor believes that curriculum should revolve around the student's needs and interests. The purpose of curriculum is to educate the generalist and not the specialist, and the process must involve problem solving. Likewise, subject matter is planned in terms of imparting knowledge, skills, and values among students. To summarize, the famous curriculum theorists hold nearly identical viewpoints. They all think that the curriculum should be learner-centered, focusing on the student's need and interest. They've all made significant contributions to the world educational system today. The historical development shows the different changes in the purpose, principles, and content of the curriculum. The different changes are influenced by educational philosophy, psychology, and pedagogical theories. This implies that curriculum is ever-changing, putting in knowledge and content from any field of discipline. And last is social foundation of curriculum. School exists within the social context. Societal culture affects the shape schools and their curricula. In considering the social foundations of curriculum, we must recognize that schools are only one of many institutions that educates society. The home, the family, community, likewise, educate the people in the society. But schools are formal institutions that address more complex and interrelated societies, and the society as ever dynamic is a source of a very fast changes which are difficult to cope with and to adjust to. Thus, schools are made to help to understand these changes. In order for school to be relevant, schools' curricula should address diversity, explosion of knowledge, school reforms, and education for all. The relationship of curriculum and society is mutual and encompassing. Hence, to be relevant, the curricula should reflect and preserve the culture of society and its aspirations. At the same time, society should also imbibe the changes brought about by the formal institutions called schools. So why is for foundation of curriculum in education important? Because it helps us to understand the things that we don't know. It gives us idea on how humans learn in educational setting. Without these four major, which is psychology, philosophy, education will be lost, no direction, without in focus, and teacher will never understand the way of teaching and learning process. So, in historical is, it resists the origin of the curriculum and development. And in sociological foundation naman, school exists because of society, because of us, and society is better place for education. So without this four major foundation of curriculum, we are nothing, because it serves as our guide to become an organized, clear, and smooth flow of education. This is important again because it helps students to make the most out of their learning. So that's all the important information that I can give about the four major foundation of curriculum in chapter 2. I hope you learned something about my topic. So thank you and goodbye.